You're listening to the PR Wind Down Podcast, the show for public relations professionals who are ready to see real change in the PR industry. We are your hosts, April White and Laura Schooler. Let's get ready to wind down. Okay, so Laura,
yes,
what's
April.
new in your world? What's happening?
I'm looking around.
I can tell you something new in my world. So I just went on a trip with my parents for my mom's 80th birthday.
Wow.
Yes, she had me late in life. I'm also older than I look, but she did have me late in life. And that was very interesting. The most interesting thing that happened at home while I was away was that my pet sitter accidentally let the cat that isn't yet cool with the new cat into his guest room, only to find out they were fine. So I've been terrified this whole time.
And they're fine?
And then she just let them chill together and sat in there and read a book, and they were fine.
Did you ever find the original cat who ran away?
No, I'm still waiting for him to come back.
But you have the one that looked like that one.
I have the one that looks like that one that's not my cat. That's not my cat. Yes, I have the doppelganger.
Okay.
People keep saying, how many animals do you have? Because it's a fair question, because it changes, and it's a lot. And so I say I have 4 dogs and 4 cats, even though 3 are currently residing with me, but I still count him as my cat because I still think he'll come back.
You still have him.
I still have him. He's still in my heart, and he's, according to my pet psychic, still alive. That's my hope.
Oh my God. You know, I've actually talked to an animal psychic, believe it or not, more than once.
Really?
Yes.
About Tilly?
Yes, and because she's so bad and sick and whatever, the behavior was what I was really trying to get into it. I haven't talked to her for a couple of years. And she's like, okay, hold on. And she's, talking to the cat, right? And she's like, she knows that she's not good, but that's just the way she is. And I was like, sorry.
You mean she knows she's just is not a well-behaved or
she's like, I know
cat.
I'm not, easy to deal with, but I don't, there's no reason. This is just the way I am. So you just have to accept me. And I was like, okay.
That's so funny. Yeah. It's funny because Alicia said something similar about him. He's just experiencing a different experience right now.
Right.
And just wants to just see what this is about. What? And
So
I was like, did I do something wrong? She's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not like he doesn't want to come home. He just, riding this wave.
Maybe he was drafted into the cat army.
What is the cat army?
And he'll be back after the war. There's wars to be waged out there in the wild. Come on.
I mean, we don't know.
It's like Watership Down, with the bunnies. You never know.
Oh my God. Okay, I like that. I'm going to go with that. That makes me feel better. At least he's serving a purpose, and it's not just that he's just refusing to come home because he found something that's mildly more interesting or equally interesting. But he's going to be
you have to set it free. Free.
They always say that. And the funny thing is, he's got all the best qualities of the cat that's missing, and then none of the negative qualities.
It's a better version of your other cat.
I mean, I hate to say it, but 1,000% yes. Did you ever see, what was the name of that movie? The One I Love. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so.
It's a great movie. It's very odd, but it's about a couple in distress that goes to this retreat house that their therapist encouraged them to go to repair their marriage.
Right.
Only to find out when that their clones or lookalikes from a parallel universe or something live in the house, which they pieced together after one of them had sex with the other one, and then but didn't know it. And so the really weird thing is the guy that lives in the house is a better version of the guy. Wow. So it's he's this sucks. He's the guy in there is 20% cooler than me, and he's a little more handsome. His hair's different. It's the same person, but they do him so he looks a little cuter.
Wow.
And he's a lot more charming and charismatic or whatever. So it's literally him but his better self that
Was
lives
it
in the guest house.
it sounds kind of like a horror movie in a way, though. Like a
It's
Twilight Zone episode, at least.
that, so in my head, sorry, this is a very long setup for this, but in my head, if Hunt comes back, he's gonna find that
The better
his
version of
younger
himself.
version, the better version of himself is living in the house.
Oh my god. All right.
Okay, on that note, should we let in the better version of me who is in the waiting room as our guest?
Yes.
That was such a long pause. Why was there such a long beat? We're quite the pair today. This is April and Laura, no sleep. It's like this is like your brain on drugs. Like this is
No sleep.
this is the PR wind down on no sleep. Okay.
All right. So our guest today is Tiffany Guarnaccia. She is the CEO of Kite PR. I'm sure you guys have all heard of it. They recently celebrated their 10-year anniversary, and she's also the founder of CommsWeek. So under Tiffany's leadership, Kite has grown to become one of the most recognized PR agencies in the US. And fun fact, she is also a former almost would have been colleague at eMusic. She had a job that I took over after she left as the director of communications and PR at eMusic. So welcome, Tiffany. So glad to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great to see you, April.
Yeah. So I'm personally, as the owner of an agency that is just 4.5 years old, super curious about what that journey for you looked like and hitting the 10-year mark, what you would have liked to have known along the way if somebody like you had been there to guide you.
Well, thanks so much. It's been just an amazing journey to get to this point. And it feels so rewarding to be celebrating a 10-year anniversary. Kind of was one of those milestones where you feel like as a business owner, you've made it, you've gotten to that point. And it's really given me the opportunity to take a step back and reflect. What's interesting is that I've always loved public relations. I had a passion for the discipline. I love PR. It's something that is true to our mission, even at Kite PR, is to really pave the way for the future of the industry. And that's also why I launched CommsWeek, which I'm still involved in. It's coming up November 6th through 10th. And, it's with that passion that has really fueled the growth of Kite Hill. So when someone asked me the question that you asked me, is like, how did you get to this point? How did you scale and how did you shape that journey? A lot of that is that first step is finding your North Star. What do I want to really be known for? How do I get there? It might have like just an inkling of an idea, but it's finding your North Star and really defining that. And really coupled with that is communicating your vision. And that's one of the most important things, because I mentor so many women and other up and comers in the industry, and they have so much passion. There's so much they could do, but it's really just crystallizing that. Like, where do I want to go? What is my North Star? What do I care about? What fuels me? What excites me? And then really finding the path there. I like to say it's about shaping your career constellation, because it's not always a straight line to get to that North Star, right? There's lots of little stars. Maybe the star is actually a universe.
Yeah.
And map that out to get to where you want to be.
What was your North Star and how did it shift over the years?
Yeah, that's such a great question, April, because I am someone in my first job, I remember my first job interview, came into New York City. I was living out in New Jersey, nervous to come into the big city, and sat down across from the person that was going to be my boss. And she asked me all the typical interview questions, right? So everyone's preparing for like strengths, weaknesses. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I said, well, I see myself at this company for a while, but unfortunately I can't be here for longer than 5 or 10 years because I will be launching a PR agency. So I had that in my head from,
I love that.
By the way, in that first job I was working on my first client, because I was so true to saying like, this is what I want to do. And I really didn't know the way to get there, but I knew I needed to gather experiences. So that was one of the things that I always kind of had, that I believe that I could do.
Yeah.
And to get to that point, there's so many other learnings. So it's getting to that point, finding your North Star. And then once it's starting to be realized, there's so many other learnings that unfold from there, which is part of that journey.
What was the reaction when you said that?
She was someone who was so supportive that I remember her
Great.
saying to me, like, I love that, Tiffany. Maybe I'll be your client one day. And it was actually someone from that same company that was my first client. And I remember having those conversations. And I say to a lot of folks, your network is your net worth. So stay connected with people when you're leaving a company. Always think about, like, how can you value those connections? It's something I was just doing today, right on the show floor at Advertising Week, just as I was waiting in line, connecting with other people. The trick for that is just asking them questions. How can I help you? Why are you here? What are you interested in learning about? And so much value is created in that exchange when you're exchanging with someone in that way.
What industries do you focus on at Kite Hill?
So we started off, and this is a good lesson for anyone who's thinking about building their business. We started off as a specialist agency that was working with advertising and media companies. So a lot of the companies that are in ad tech, media companies like Trusted Media Brands, which is the parent company for Reader's Digest, Taste of Home, and some music. April pointed out that we had some shared connections in the music industry from earlier on, because I knew, while I had that bigger vision of being a leading tech PR agency, I had to come out of the gates in communicating that vision in a way that helped me stand out against competitors. So I formed the agency really as an agency that had focused on that niche. We used our own, like the tools we had in our toolkit to market the agencies. We were doing our own thought leadership and media relations for the business, which was great. That allowed us to really create a little bit more of that brand halo around Kite Hill, being seen as a leader in a category by leaning into it. And from there, when I reflect on the journey, that fueled our growth. We had that hockey stick-like growth 5 years in. After that point, it's kind of tricky to break into new categories.
Because you're so known for certain things at that point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you're in PR, a lot of any service business, you're a business of people. So we've done a lot of work over the past few years to really be thoughtful about how the business is growing and extending into new categories, and launched other practice areas, including climate tech, which covers a lot of clean and green technologies. We have some cybersecurity, enterprise tech, which also covers broader B2B and AI, as well as some of the media and entertainment and influencer. I also really recognize that a great leader surrounds herself with other great leaders. So I've built out a great senior leadership team and then appointed different people as practice area leads so that they would then have their own thought leadership platform in those categories. So it's really helped to grow our brand perception, but it's a journey, just like anything else.
So what's next?
What's next? So we have, the rest of our 10-year anniversary campaign that we've had this year was all about celebrating agility, innovation, and mentorship in PR, because those are the things that helped us get to this point, this 10-year anniversary. So we're really focused on, continuing to take the knowledge that I've gained over that time and then go back and see how we can help others in the category. Send the elevator back down is something that's so important to me, and why I'm always happy to help other leaders that are starting to shape their business overall. And it's about, for me, the development of my team and really making sure that we're preserving an excellent culture. So our culture has been a part of what's really important to the team, to the agency at large. That bakes in the importance of mentorship. We essentially operationalized our approach to mentorship, where everyone has an official peer-to-peer mentor that's recently been in the position that they're in now, that helps not only share the learnings that you get from your manager, but from someone who just did it, that just advanced, that can give you some of that knowledge. And a lot of that comes back to the agency culture that we have. It's focused on collaboration. And when I see that magic happening, other people helping each other and advancing and growing, like, that's what makes it all worth it for me. That's why I love running the business and seeing the team just continue to advance.
So awesome. What led you to found CommsWeek? That's quite an accolade.
I love that question. And, it's coming back to really knowing your passions and seeing, where is there an opportunity in the market? Is there white space? Is there something that, being in the business that I'm in, really seeing what's out there? Is there a void that I would like to have and I would like to fill? Right before I was looking to start the agency, I was in-house at the Huffington Post. I was working underneath Ariana Huffington. I was the head of communications there. So I had an opportunity to be a part of a lot of groups and saw a lot of different events and spoke at some events overall. And I felt like there wasn't that broader platform that was connecting a lot of what was out there. And maybe there wasn't a platform that was bringing that sex appeal to PR that Advertising Week has. And when you think about some of the big sessions, it was with that idea that I got together a lot of the key organizations, got together a lot of the key media properties, and launched the week overall, and just thought a rising tide lifts all boats. There are other people that are passionate about the advancement of communications, and launched the first Communications Week as small event in a co-working space, in the same co-working space that I launched Kite Hill, and scaled that to become a global conference that was running in Germany. We had events in Canada, in London, the US, and then it was then acquired by Ragan, who's still continuing to run it in different cities. But this is the first time this year, it's coming up in November, that it will be in Texas, in Austin, under the theme of leading the way, because the platform itself is all about advancing anyone who's in the business of communications.
So cool.
I'm surprised it didn't exist before that.
I'm surprised too. I know the passion that we have. There's so many people out there, but sometimes is it within agencies that we're shoemakers' children, right? We're focused on our clients,
right,
and their platform and their events, but sometimes we have to look back in and say, like, what are we doing to really shape the future of communications? And what I love about it too is it gets so many people involved who are rising stars, and a lot of recent college graduates who are becoming involved in programming, and just, creating more opportunities for learning there.
One thing that is just resonating in everything you're talking about is just how much you love communications and PR. I'm a little bit curious where that started, if there was a moment in time, or what is that? What's at the core of that passion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes back to, when you think about, like, how do you define that? I always come back to asking a couple of questions for team members when they're just starting out. And I mentor, I do a lot of mentoring. I'm a part of She Runs It as an executive class member, and I'm part of that mentorship group. And I just had a group of mentees in my office just last week. And one of them asked me a similar question. Well, I have 2 years of experience. I'm starting to think about what's next for me, but I'm having a hard time figuring out which part of marketing I should lean into. And I said, when you write down the list of all the things that you have to do, what sparks? There's going to be a certain thing that you're going to feel like, I really enjoy this part, or I'm curious about it, I want to know more, I want to do more, and lean into those things where you have the skill and the excitement. There's some great stats that, I've read in past articles that talks about happiness and job performance. And I think some of the recent statistics I've seen is that even if you're happy doing 25% of the role, that it just improves your happiness overall. So it might not be coming to work and thinking that you're loving every single second of it, but there's going to be that part that you want to lean into. And I'd say that's a big part of how you can find that overall. I think knowing what you love and your strengths is just as important as knowing your weaknesses, and identifying that very early on, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And you don't have to be a Jill of all trades, but you do need to know enough to be dangerous. So for me, early on, I knew that I was the comms person, right? April, you're exactly right. I was like, love stories and words and, all of the things that go into PR, but the finance side, not my favorite.
No, me neither. Not my strength.
But then early on, even from that co-working space, I found someone who, her name is Luz Diaz, who was starting her own accounting and bookkeeping firm. And she was someone who really was great at looking at all of the financial side of things. And she was growing her company at the same time. And she has been with me since day one. I'd say like a ride or die when it comes to that, because it's been,
I love that.
It's finding who do I need to have as a part of that balances me out. And then
the Thelma and Louise of PR.
That's right. That's right. And then from there, I've grown the team to complement and diversify the thoughts that we have in senior leadership along the way.
So cool.
When you look at, how do you continue to advance and what do you use? We've certainly do what we do best for our clients in terms of media relations and thought leadership and a lot of those kind of core strategies for Kite Hill. We even treat Kite Hill as a client. So I think that's something that you can think about for your business or for other businesses. Like, what assets do I have? What's the core strength of my team? Where are they superstars? And how do I use that to really elevate the company overall?
That's smart. Okay. Question for you. Is there something we didn't ask yet that we should have? Or is there something you want to ask us, since I've been doing all the question asking?
When it comes to inspiration, maybe you can tell me just the same question back to you when it came to really leaning into starting your business? What was that early inspiration? How did you get to where you are now?
A little bit different from you, but I had been in a lot of agencies before I was at eMusic, and frankly didn't love the experience I had in general, right? But I did love PR. And so it was like, I kind of want to create the agency I wish I could have worked for, that I wish existed, and address some of the things by doing that I saw that I thought could be done better. I just saw a different way to approach some of the ways that the agency world was operating across the board, right? And just had sort of fallen into this system, if you will, right? This sort of like way of doing things that I wanted to kind of disrupt, to be honest. So that was really where it came from. But a lot of it also was that focus on culture, like you're expressing, that I wanted a certain kind of culture to exist. That was the guiding light. And then it's been really fun to see it come to life. I don't know if there was ever a moment for you, it was like, wait, this actually happened. It was this thing in my head. And then here it is.
Yeah, the journey is so rewarding. And I think it takes, it's the same for me, just recognizing where is there a gap in the market, but maybe a little bit of luck, but a lot of tenacity that goes into growing a business through each phase, because there's going to be points where everything feels like we're growing, it's great, and there's going to be a lot of setbacks. And I think what defines success and continues to define growth is like, how do you get back up from those setbacks, and how do you keep going and just believing in that North Star? But it's great to see another fellow woman in PR who's leading the way, who's the new guard, right?
Yeah. Cool. Well, you continue to be an inspiration to me. So I appreciate you being out there and, forging ahead and showing us all that it's possible. Before I let you go, is there something you'd like to share about Communications Week, why people should go, and anything else that you want to promote or plug on your way out, in addition to just sharing how people can reach you?
Or any questions about the agency, you can reach me at tiffany@kitehillpr.com. And I will be at Communications Week, which is coming up in Austin, Texas, November 6th through 10th. The theme is leading the way, and it's covering everything that's coming up in external and internal communications. Of course, we're going to be covering AI and how AI is starting to disrupt the communications industry, but a lot of practical knowledge and great speakers there as well.
Very good. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And thanks for taking time out of your busy day after a already busy morning.
I'm going to get back to it, actually.
Okay, cool. We'll let you get back to networking.
Awesome. Thanks so much, April.
Right. Bye.
Okay, that was an amazing interview. Laura, are you ready to get into our news of the day?
Yes.
Okay, so our news for today is quite interesting. Essentially, there is a semi-viral PR theory about the recent Taylor Swift, social media buzz / I don't know, hurricane, tsunami, whatever that happened in the wake of her announcing that she was going to attend a Jets and Chiefs game, because there was a lot of negative press last year about how she was the #1 celebrity for private jet emissions. And she got a ton of negative press.
Why? Because she takes private jets all over the world? Okay.
Yeah, so she's like the #1,
yeah,
public enemy #1 when it comes to emissions in private jets.
I mean, a lot of celebrities are getting crap for that kind of stuff, private jets.
But... Right. So it was lingering around on the internet with all this negative press. And when you searched for that, it would come up, very readily.
Mm-hmm.
And so the theory is that her boyfriend plays for the Chiefs, and she decided to attend the game where they were playing the Jets, because that way they would create this whole storm of buzz and coverage, including the word Jets or jet.
Oh.
So that now when you search for Taylor Swift and jet,
the football game comes up.
No longer find the coverage about the private jet emissions.
I didn't get, because I'm a little slow today, that the whole jet factor in the Google search is, oh my God, now I get it.
This is the theory. They did it as an SEO play
to push all
of the negative coverage about her jet emissions ranking down and make it invisible. And now all you know about Taylor Swift and Jets
She went to the
is
football
that
game.
she went to the football game.
So that's
And like I'm barely like I barely watch sports and I barely pay attention to celebrity
Taylor
stuff.
Swift, right?
But even I heard about this and was like, why are we making such a big deal out about Taylor Swift going to a Jets game
And
or
then when
a
you
Chiefs game
heard,
or whatever?
right?
And then I saw this, I was like, oh my God, they got it everywhere too. Like it was it was like the Barbie movie. Like they blitzed that thing everywhere.
And every angle, and then because she's a one person wrecking machine, in terms of just like
oh my God,
sucking all of the attention from the whole world.
Well, at first I was like, what is it? Because I noticed it was a push, right? And I was like, is this like they're using her to get coverage for the Chiefs? Or are they like using her to get more people to come to the Chiefs game? Well, I was hearing all these people are like dying to go to this game because she was going to be there. I don't fully understand. Like, are you going to see Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game? Like, is that
in the same room as her? I guess.
And you're just like, oh my God, I was there when she was there.
Yeah.
Is that thing? It's amazing. It's amazing. I love.
Well, it helped him sell tons of shirts, and the tickets went up, to $500 in the cheap seats and whatever. So it helps a lot of money making endeavors as well. I mean, if it's true, or even if it's not true, and somebody picked up, oh, maybe it's because of that. It is genius for that purpose. But I don't really know that her negative press. Obviously, her fans don't care because she sells, $1 billion in tickets a day. So
no.
But if it was a strategy, it's a great PR, how the sausage could be made story. It's like that movie Wag the Dog, if you ever saw that.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah.
Make up the fake war to, redirect attention. I mean, that sort of approach has been used in politics and other PR crisis sort of comms situations. But just the fact that like they were playing the Jets and like that was the word that's the issue in a different context is hilarious.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I like to think that it really happened that way.
Right.
Because the genius of it, it's like chef's kiss. Like I know. Amazing. Amazing. I'm enamored. So smart. It's so smart and so sneaky.
I don't even know a song by her, but I know this.
I don't either.
I mean, I might, but I don't know that it's her. Like, I just don't know.
Right. You can't name one off the top of your head. You probably have heard one and like, oh, that's Taylor Swift. Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm in the same boat. I know. Amazing. Also, for those of you who have not seen this news yet, we are going to include the TikTok video in the show notes below. So click down there and you'll get to see it for yourself. Be also amazed. All right, Laura, are you ready to wrap it up? I'll take it. You were gonna sing. You're gonna sing it, but you're too tired.
I am tired, but I always like hearing the fabulous Thunderbirds.
It was in your head.
I know
it was in your head before I sang it, right? It was. There.
I know that. Yeah, I'm so slow today.
I know.
I'm not. I know the fabulous Thunderbirds,
there.
But I don't know Taylor Swift. Let's just, that. I guess I'm showing my age. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. Whatever. All right. Well, on that note, thank you for tuning in for the PR Wind Down podcast.
And thank you to Tiffany for joining us today for a really great interview.
Remember to submit your own agency stories and questions and share our show with your friends and colleagues. If you subscribe and leave us a rating, it's going to help us reach new listeners like you.
Can't wait to wind
down with you again next time. I don't know why we started doing it together, but it still amuses me. I mean, I don't know why we started trying to do it together, but it still amuses me.
It looks like something that we should, but
I know it's like the trust relations chant. Did I ever tell you that this happened at our retreat?
No, what?
So we have our tagline is "We build trust," right? Trust relations, we build trust. So at our retreat in person last year in Sedona, we crazily decided it might be cute for a social media video to have me shout "Trust relations," and then the whole team goes, "We build trust."
Right.
And we did it, and it was like I was a cult leader. It came across so creepy, and we're like, we're never gonna do this again. We can never. No one can ever see this video. We can never speak of this again. This can never be repeated.
You're handing out the
It was like trust relations, and they were like, "We build trust," and I was like, "Ugh."
That's the exact opposite of what I want, to put out in the world.
It was so bad. It was so bad. So to this day, we still laugh about it because it was that creepy and weird.
Well, I'm glad that you recognize that. And
I know, me too. I don't know how in our heads it was gonna. It's so funny when sometimes in your head something's gonna be fun, and then you do it, and you're like, why didn't I see what that was gonna look like in practice? Like we should have. But
you thought it was gonna be like the Mickey video, like Tony Basil, and it turned into Charles Manson or something.